You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. I'm glad you're with us. And we're going to have a really great show today. This is Friday. Happy Friday. It's December the 9th. It's getting closer and closer to Christmas time. And I know a lot of us might, it might be a little bit of a stressful time of the year for many people. So I hope that you're able to get through it and that it's a joyful time for you, even if it hasn't been historically. I hope that this time of year you can find some way to make it a positive experience. Again, like I said, I know it's not like that for everyone, and so yeah, I acknowledge that, and I know myself sometimes I kind of get the blahs. There's just lots going on. There's lots. You wonder if you need to get people things, and you wonder if it's very stressful. So I hope everyone's able to get through that, navigate through it, and have a positive time of year. So welcome to the show. Thanks for listening. If you're listening to us on CKLU on the radio, it's 96.7. If it's online, it's cklu.ca. You can download the Radio Player Canada app off their CKLU website and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. Also, live streaming at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. So remember to like, share, subscribe, follow, all those things. It's a work in progress. And I've found that it's really, there's a lot of weird things going on Facebook where I think by now we should have about at least 20,000 followers, but we're having a hard time getting to 5,000, and I see the numbers aren't jiving, and for some reason, I don't know if it's algorithms or if it's moderators doing something manually or not, but I do know something weird's going on, and for some reason, I'll talk about it later if I have a chance. I don't want to get off on a tangent right off the bat, but just thankful that you're with us this morning. And good morning, Shane. Happy Friday, Sudbury News. Yeah, happy Friday to you too, Shane. Happy Friday, Diane. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday and good morning. Glad you're here. Oh, thanks. I'm glad to be here too. We had internet issues yesterday at the office, and now they're solved, hopefully forever. The Facebook funnies, yeah. Exactly. Good morning, Stacy. Thanks for being with us. And we're going to have a really good show today. There's lots to talk about, lots to unpack because we didn't have a show yesterday, right? So there's kind of like 2 days of news. There's weather, sports, there's events, and then there's local news. A lot of meaty stuff going on, and then there's some national I'd love to get to if I have a chance. We'll see if we can get through it all, and your comments, obviously, this is your show, so feel free to chime in anytime about anything, and we'll get to those, and I'll make sure to try and get them on the air as well on CKLU on the radio, because I know on live streaming, if you're watching, that you're able to see the comments and you're able to comment, but on the radio, obviously, that's impossible to do. So we'll be back with some weather, sports, and then some headlines right after this. Sudbury weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. That's our Sudbury.news Facebook tab where you go and get all things weather. Currently, it's negative 11 degrees, so a little chilly out there. It feels like negative or minus 18. The humidity is at about 89%. Today, a mix of sun and cloud. 30% chance of flurries this morning, becoming sunny this afternoon. Yay. Sun. Wind will be its usual kind of 20 kilometers coming from the northeast. -7 is the high today. The wind chill will feel like -22. minus 22. Wow. That's going to feel very cold this morning. And then minus 13 this afternoon when the sun comes out. So it'll still be, crisp with the sun, but that's my favorite weather. Sunny, even if it's cold, it's fine. Sun, no snow, cool. I can handle that. It's my kind of weather. And no mosquitoes to boot. This is the best thing about this time of season. No mosquitoes or black flies. Love it. Tonight, clear, wind up to 15 kilometers an hour. Low of minus 11, wind chill near minus 18. And then Saturday, sunny. Love it. Wind will be 20 kilometers from the east, high of minus 5, wind chill minus 19. The wind chill is really making a difference these days, like over 10 degrees difference in many cases. So, and then it'll be minus 12 in the afternoon. So similar to today's afternoon temperatures tomorrow, sunny, beautiful. Can't ask for anything more. Better than that. Like I said, long-term forecast, sunny, minus 5 tomorrow. And then Sunday, there is a chance of snow in the realm of 40%, high of minus 7. Monday again, forecast anyways to be sunny, high of minus 7. And then Tuesday, high of minus 2, mix of sun and cloud. They're calling for some clouds to roll in after Wednesday or so. Look at your satellite if you're on live stream on the radio. Yeah, probably the most clearing I've seen since doing the show. But over the populated areas, currently there's a bunch of clouds, but that should be dissipating, like we said this afternoon, at least in Sudbury, and we'll be able to enjoy a nice sunny afternoon. That is your Sudbury weather, brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. We'll be back with a little bit of sports right after this. And your Sudbury Wolves will be in action tonight at the Sudbury Arena. We're going to have a little bit of a video here from Miranda Swain-Boivet talking about the special stuff they got going on tonight. We'll be right back as soon as we get some volume here. So I just have to do this, and then I got to do that. Shouldn't have had to do that, but that's fine. I'm not going to complain.
I would like to welcome everyone to today's media conference as we get set to unveil our limited edition Shoresy Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs themed jersey ahead of Friday's game against the Saginaw Spirit. We are really excited to be able to unveil these jerseys today in partnership with comedy entertainment studio New Metric Media in support of the Neo Kids Foundation. So for those who don't know much about the show, Shoresy is shot on location here in Sudbury and is the Letterkenny spin-off series available to stream on Crave. When we set out our plans this season, we were looking to celebrate something that is uniquely Sudbury and to showcase Sudbury's rapidly growing film industry. With the highly popular show not only being filmed here in Sudbury, a majority of the show was actually filmed right here at the Sudbury Arena. And a number of our staff and players were also involved in various capacities during season number 1. The show also featured a number of our sponsors, such as the Doghouse, and these jerseys are going to be available for auction throughout the game here at the arena in a silent auction, and then a number of them will also be available online for bids at sudburywolves.com.
Thank you very much, Miranda, and thank you to the entire Wolves organization and to Shoresy and to everybody who is involved with putting this game together. The fact that, SWSC, the Sudbury Wolves, are partnering with other organizations and business endeavors in the community to raise funds and awareness for Neo Kids, which is such an important part of the community, and the services that we provide are so important to not only people here in Sudbury, but to kids and families who travel from all over northeastern Ontario to receive treatment and care. And it really means the world to us that such a high-profile organization is willing to is willing to work with us.
We're so proud to call Sudbury home for Letterkenny and Shoresy. While filming Shoresy, the Wolves were so good to us with players and the arena, your staff. It really was an unbelievable relationship. So this feels like a great continuation of that. This is another way for us to give back to the community, which has given us so much. So we're so honored to be a part of the Sudbury community and so honored to be here. We hope to see everyone at the game on Friday. It's very important that everyone knows puppers will be served at the game. So if you want to try one, come on out. Thank you very much.
So Friday's game is set for 7:05 p.m. start and is sponsored by Valen, who will be on hand with giveaways for fans who visit their booth in the lower lobby. The Wolves will also welcome back Glencore staff and families as they celebrate the holiday season. It's a busy game here Friday, as it's also part 2 of our Foyer Intercity Home Food Drive, so fans who donate non-perishable food items will be entered into a draw to win some great prizes courtesy of Glencore and the Sudbury Wolves. In Shoresy fashion, the Sudbury Wolves and New Metric Media have also partnered with Chapman's Ice Cream, who have provided sticks for lucky fans throughout the game. Pupper's Golden Lager, the official beer of the hit comedy series Letterkenny, will also be available for sale throughout the arena, with a portion of the proceeds going towards Neil Kids, as Kara mentioned. Prior to the game, the Wolves are also going to welcome Neil Kids' family and local Shoresy actor Max Buffard, aka JJ Frankie JJ, to drop the puck. Friday's game also marks Saginaw Spirit and 2022 first overall OHL priority selection, Michael Misa, who will make their only visit of the season to Sudbury. Tickets are on sale now at the Sudbury Arena box office and at greatersudbury.ca/tickets.
All right. You heard it here first or not. If you heard it somewhere else, well, you heard it there. But definitely, I just kept it playing because I was basically going to say all the things that Miranda just said, but I just kept the video playing and it saved me the time. Going to be a great game tonight. The best thing to do is to get the tickets, get out and see it. It's not every day you have a spin-off from a really hit show, but it's making its mark. The Shoresy, it's making its mark as well, and they got all the things from the show, incorporating it with the game. It's about as good as a marketing thing that you could possibly do with the two working together. So, look, if you want community and you want to get out and enjoy Sudbury and enjoy all the things that are Sudbury, here, these guys are really doing a great job. The Wolves, the Sudbury Wolves Sports and Entertainment Group, along with, partnering up with different people in the city, this is what community is all about. So if you want to be a part of that and also join in on that, for $15 for a ticket, it's really the best bang for your buck. Now, if you're not able to make the game for some reason whatsoever, we got the game right here on CKLU 96.7 FM. You can listen to it. We got really great play-by-play guys. We got Brian Cooper from Pure Country, who does play-by-play. He's usually joined by Thomas Mercier. And then David Bowen, who's the newest member of the Sudbury Wolves broadcast team, son of Joe Bowen, who's the voice of the Leafs, who used to be the voice of the Wolves, is on the broadcast team for CKLU. So, and I know a lot of times, 99% of the time, it's on Eastlink as well. So many ways to support, but the best way is to do it, that you get the most out of it, is to go to the game and enjoy it. So good. We'll be back with headlines right after this. Hopefully we'll be able to unpack everything. Got a couple of events to talk about too and stuff. So stay with us. All right, so we're back, and I'm just see if I can get this this all loaded up here in the background. We're doing it solo today, so it's not the easiest thing in the world to accomplish. So we'll see what we can do here. We'll do that. Anyways, we're back. So many things going on at the same time, and then getting messages as well on my phone. I have to see it just in case there's problems with the broadcast. And it's a Nick chiming in. She's had a rough night last night, so just want to see what's going on there. Cool. All right, thank you, Nick. If you're on, appreciate that. and so many things to talk about. But first of all, I want to talk about a few events. We'll get to this one in a second. I didn't want to be full screen, so there you go. But I do want to be full screen, so there we are. There. Technology. It's just, there's always so many things going on. But Jerome says this is great stuff, supporting both hockey and film. Like I said, right? It's a great combination. And they got so many things going on at the game. Just going to be a great time. Let's go Sudbury for sure. Charlie Brown Christmas live on the stage. So Sudbury Performance Group presents the stage adaptation of the 1965 animated special. So that's pretty cool. A lot of Christmas things going on this year, like a lot of Christmas performances. But want to get to this one in particular, going on right here in Greater Sudbury at the Sheridan Auditorium in Sudbury Secondary School. Little Skidoo, Judy Strawn putting that all together. But let's just have CTV explain it for us. Save me a little bit of time here.
Being staged this weekend in Sudbury, and if that sounds familiar, it should be. It's based on a much-loved old song by the same name. The new story is by Judy Strawn, and the production stars veteran local performer Steph Paquette. More details now from CTV's Alana Everson.
The play setting takes place at Christmas 2022, when a repeat of 1977 happens. There's a huge storm and Santa is lost and unaccounted for. Can the same Little Skidoo save the day?
Fast forwarded to 2022. We're not doing a 1977 version, so we have technology, we have a screen, we have people FaceTiming in to help solve the mystery of where is Santa and why has he gone missing. So the entire community, real people in the community, solve the mystery.
Sudbury singer-songwriter Steph Paquette plays Bert Collins, the man who wrote and then recorded the Christmas song in the 70s.
I grew up on the Little Skidoo song. To be able to present that song or sing that song, and to maybe there's some kids, new generation, that don't know the song, and to be able to present that song to a whole other generation of kids is pretty special.
The play features a sing-along and Muppet-style puppets. Radio DJ Woolly Mammoth and Dominique, who does her best to help Santa. The actors say there is a special message in the production.
The message is that it only takes a little bit of hope and a little bit of love, and all will be well at Christmas time.
Even the smallest things, with enough hope and care put into them, belief, can really do incredible things if you give them the chance.
The writer of the play calls it a magical, entertaining family show with some humor for ages 4 and up. The debut of Little Skidoo will be at the Sheridan Auditorium at Sudbury Secondary this Friday and Saturday. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
There you go. It's going to be a great night. It's only, I don't know, what, $20 at the most for a ticket, so it's very, very cheap, very family. I think kids are cheaper than that. You go to littleskidoo.ca, you can catch all the information on that, get tickets ahead of time, pay cash. It's only cash if you go in person, just to know that, just to note to self. So, and then also a Charlie Brown Christmas, Sudbury Performance Group doing basically an adaptation of the beloved 1965 animated special and soundtrack of all. It will be, let's see here, you can catch the production at the Ernie Checkers Theater at Thornhill University tonight, and then tomorrow, Sunday, and then also it looks like Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week as well. There's matinees at Saturday and Sunday at 1:30. Evening shows are at 6:30 for that. So anyways, check out our events page on Sudbury.news, and you'll see all the events going on in the city, including these two. And there's much, much more going on. I know that. But we got so many headlines to get to at the moment. But it's a good time to plug our sponsor that's sponsored our sports before. Sports were brought to you by SudburySports.com. I failed to mention that. Randy Pascal, that Sudbury Sports guy, always have his website queued up, keeping on top of all the local sports. So anyways, if we're going to go through our headlines, the things that we share at Sudbury News on our Facebook page. Let's see here. We got also Shane saying, come and see me sing with Bel Canto Chorus tonight at 7:30 at St. Andrews on Larch. Hey, great shout out for that. Yeah, you did mention, we were talking before, you belong to a choir, and I thought that's interesting, and I wanted to ask you about that, but I guess if I wanted to check you out and check your choir out, it would be tonight. You're going to be singing with the Bel Canto Chorus at St. Andrews on Larch at 7:30. That's so totally awesome. And Diane saying she has the CD, Little Skidoo, and loved it on the telethon performance as well at Place des Arts. I was wondering where the telethon was. It was at Place des Arts. Okay, cool. Great location for it as well. So, bunch of headlines. Some not so, happy or, warm and fuzzy as Charlie Brown or Little Skidoo. Sudbury's lack of warming centers might cause death, activists caution. So Sudbury Ward 7 councillor Natalie Labby voiced concern at a recent meeting about the services that we don't have. I heard a lot of people talking about this. This winter is going to be brutal because we don't have the proper facilities for warming stations for many vulnerable people, and so hopefully we'll be able to get on that and rectify that. Sudbury's safe consumption site has reversed 3 overdoses since it opened. The people behind the supervised drug consumption site say that 69 people have made 126 visits to the Sudbury location since it opened at the end of September. Remember we talked about this before and there was no numbers? There were no numbers at the time. They weren't releasing anything. Well, here you go. Here's some numbers. So since it opened in September, 69 people utilized the service. And many of them more than once, because 69 people attributed to 126 visits. So obviously that's an ongoing story that we're covering, is how the safe consumption site, is it good for Sudbury? Is it helping? Is it only the beginning of a step to recovery for many people who are struggling with addictions? Is it enough on its own? These are the questions we're wondering. I know North Bay just announced that they are going to have a treatment center there to help people with their rehabilitation from going from being addicted all the way through to, helping them with their addictions. And so, yeah, we're gonna constantly be talking about that because that's a huge issue for Sudbury. There was a crash on MR 80 in Sudbury, sending one to hospital. A 2-vehicle accident in Greater Sudbury closed the road for 2 hours on Wednesday. And then Judy says, everyone's in a hurry to get nowhere. Be safe. You're not the only one on the road, for sure. Really great suggestion there. Sudbury convenience store owner hit suspect with a bat during a robbery. An 18-year-old suspect has been charged at a convenience store on Lorne Street after the owner hit the suspect with a bat. So many comments here. Awesome, good job taking care of it. Good for him. Good. Awesome. That's awesome. So many people. I didn't see anybody saying you shouldn't hit someone with a bat if they're trying to rob you. That's something that would cross my mind, but you're trying to protect your property. Oh, that's right. The robbers have rights. So Matt did chime in with a bit of a tongue-in-cheek statement there. That's true. I was floored one time when someone told me, like, if someone breaks into your house and breaks their leg or they're hurt in any way, shape, or form, that they can turn around and sue you. And I just thought, first of all, I thought that was a joke. And then it wasn't. And then I started looking into things, and I thought, there's some really wonky kind of laws that are out there that really don't make any sense, and that's one of them. So if someone comes, jumps over your fence and drowns in your pool, you're liable. So there's a lot of weird things like that in the world. So let's hope this owner of this convenience store isn't charged for anything, just trying to protect their store. I mean, someone's coming in and robbing them, they got to do something, right? But again, it's a huge issue. It's a international issue. National in terms of our laws, but international in terms of, if you look in the States, there's a lot of things going on with their crime and how they're dealing with it, which are really interesting. Jerome says, okay, not really sure what that's saying, but yeah, broken legs can be deadly for sure. Okay. Okay, I think you're commenting on the old General Hospital that's been painted, something that we do in the city that just sits empty. Anyways, trying to catch the comments along with the stories, and I'm here solo today if you haven't noticed that, so we're doing our best. Ontario government tells developers of wilderness communities in Northern Ontario to follow the rules. So I guess there's been a lot of people that have been making off-grid communities through the sparseness of what is Northern Ontario, all the way, north of Sudbury, all the way to James Bay, everywhere in between. And the Ontario government is taking notice of that and kind of doesn't want people to just go out and live in the bush. They want you to do it properly. I guess this is the biggest story of the day. Costco's gas station has opened. And if you weren't aware of that, I don't know how you couldn't be, because it's everywhere in the news, and it's got a lot of views on our Facebook page, a lot of comments as well. The gas yesterday when it first opened was $139.9. Staff years ago, this is Andy chiming in here, says staff years ago said it would never happen. And I always tell them, never say never, and now it's happening. So thanks for the warning. I will stay away. I think there's a lot of people with that sentiment as well. They don't want to wait in line. I'm one of them. I really don't like huge crowds. And in order to save a little bit of money, I will avoid that at all costs. But anyways, not everyone's like that, and people are going to take advantage of the lower gas prices at the new Costco gas station on the Kingsway. Did anyone notice the price? Okay, yeah, $139.9. And then someone's doing the math here, seeing how much it's going to save you. And what I'm really curious about, and I hope that I can get it up here on the screen, is our local gas prices in town to see if it's already affected them. But it looks like we're still sitting at about 146, 147 being the lowest in town other than there. So that's a, 7 cents savings. I thought it might impact the other gas stations, but we'll keep an eye on that. Canadian Tire in Chelmsford is currently the lowest gas price in town other than Costco. It's 146.6. So we'll keep an eye on that as it continues to develop. And I'm really sorry about yesterday's show. We were having internet issues at the office, really bizarre, weird internet issues, and so no one's able to find out the problem, and so every once in a while it keeps happening. So what I've done is I think I've solved the problem, and I've done my own kind of limited IT duct taping to prevent that in the future. So without getting into any more detail, the problem should be fixed. So we should be on air unless there's unforeseen circumstances like a power outage or something with my schedule or whatever. We should be on air every weekday between 8:30 and 7:30 and 8:30 on CKLU and live streaming. So I apologize for that. Other than Christmas, I'm not sure right now what we're going to do over the Christmas holidays. I'm thinking of taking some time, over the holidays, and maybe coming in once in a while and just checking in and just having, because there's going to be a lot of stories going on, and I don't want to leave it too long, and I really appreciate this community conversation that we're having. And on that note, continue with the headlines here. Laurentian Faculty Union joins calls for a public inquiry into the university's troubles. The demand follows the Laurentian University Faculty Association calling the scathing details revealed in the auditor's report something that also needs to be looked into and people being held accountable, and a public inquiry is something that many, many people, including this faculty association, is calling for, including anyone that I've had on the show so far. They're all in favor of a public inquiry. So if you're feeling safe to comment and you want to comment, let us know. Is that something you think we need in Sudbury after the insolvency and bankruptcy of our publicly funded university? In your view, have people been held accountable enough? Has enough been done? Do you think enough is going to be done if we don't have a public inquiry? Do you think, so simple, do you think we need a public inquiry with Laurentian University? And we'll get, again, you don't have to comment, but if you feel you'd like to, I'd really appreciate that. This is another thing that we're keeping our finger on the pulse that many people have been kind of mostly upset about. So the city has hired a senior financial officer, but they live and work in Lethbridge. So there was a really cool letter here written into, I believe it's the Sudbury Star. And it says, the letter's title is City Senior Financial Officer Must Live in Greater Sudbury. To the city's bureaucrat class, you should be questioning, how has this idea made it from inception to completion without a security check? Or a sanity check. Yes, sanity check. Obviously, the views of this letter are the views of the author of it, but I have no problem, relating it here for everyone. It's something new every week at City Hall. Never content to rest on their laurels. They are constantly looking for the next bad idea. Kudos to the anonymous whistleblower who reported the appointment of Haley Pinkson, a resident of Lethbridge, Alberta, approximately 2,710 kilometers away, as the city's new chief financial officer. Although Ms. Cowan's excellent December 5th article does not seem to be able to confirm or deny that Miss Pinkson, will be working permanently from Alberta, the city's non-answer is more than enough information upon which to draw that conclusion. As much, it has left me with a few thoughts. To the city's bureaucrat class, you should be questioning how this idea made it from inception to completion without a sanity check. Evidently, with no one realizing that there would obviously be blowback. As residents, we should all be worried that it did have blowback, or we should all be worried that it did, not that it is anything new. Yeah. It should go without saying, but handling the reins of the city's finances to someone 2 time zones away is objectionably a bad idea. I'm sure Miss Pinkson has relevant experience. I'm sure on paper she's a fine candidate, but her 2-week orientation to Sudbury, parentheses, on my dime and yours, taxpayers, end of parentheses, is not nearly enough to endow her with the proper understanding of our community and its people. Miss Pinkson has no idea what life is like or will be like in the coming years here in Sudbury, what our unique challenges are, what our needs are, and because she can't possibly understand these things from her home office a country away, much like I would be able to understand unique challenges in residents in Miami, Florida, or even Lethbridge for that matter. Secondly, Miss Pinkson, I mean, no disrespect to you. As I've stated above, I'm sure that you are excellent at what you do, but know as well that I know as well as I do that you cannot provide a living, breathing community the service, support, and care it requires from such a far distance. There is no substitute for being somewhere and experiencing it in person in order to truly understand it. That's why, despite working from home myself, I still travel to the office 3 days a week. I despise it, but in my position, I understand it's something I have to do. So please, Miss Pinkson, do the right thing, move to Sudbury or step down so that someone who does understand the community and give this position the care that it needs. The job is more than a paycheck. And that's by Robert Zamora. So there you go. That's Robert's point of view on it. I know that anyone that I've been speaking with as a guest on the show has also agreed with that. Said that's just it's kind of an odd thing to have our chief financial officer live in another city like 2-3 provinces away and on the border of BC. So they're almost in BC too. Lethbridge is kind of at the foothills there of the Rockies. So Diane is chiming in on the public inquiry. Yes, we need a public inquiry. And Jerome is saying our liberal mayor sits on his lips saying nothing. How about a public inquiry into the failure known as HSN? So, okay, so I think the first, public inquiry comes for Laurentian University. And then I think we really need to check into, because of what happened at Laurentian University, see the current, be a little bit more transparent with HSN and see what's really going on. I think the theme going on now, because of what we're seeing, not only in Sudbury, but in the world, is transparency. And the reason why it's not, why hasn't it been transparent to begin with for taxpayers? And going forward to make sure that things are going to be transparent in the future. We definitely have to be looking into that. Transparency all around with our voting, with our finances, with, want to get to a little bit of a story with China and them kind of getting involved in our politics. Things need to be transparent so we can avoid things like that. Things that can really do some damage to us in our lives. Cool. Yes, so inquiries for both institutions, the Laurentian University and HSN. Diane is agreeing with that, I believe. So moving on, Mounties mum on report that 2 more illegal Chinese police stations are on Canadian soil. This was a story I got a hold of about 3 weeks ago, that China has police stations in Canada that are illegal because you can't really have another foreign entity on your soil enacting their laws and with their authority. But apparently they're here to be able to police their own citizens that are here in Canada, either students or, working in Canada. If they're still Chinese citizens, that's their reason for having Chinese police stations. They're not only in Canada, they have a couple in the States, or at least one. I believe it's in New York City, and I believe ours are in Toronto. Let's just see what we have here. So the same nonprofit that said they found Chinese police stations operating on Canadian soil now say they've found 2 more. Safeguard Defenders is a Spanish-based NGO that monitors police disappearances in China. In October, they released a report claiming that Chinese law enforcement operates a worldwide network of quote-unquote service stations to enforce the Chinese policy of quote-unquote involuntary return, quote-unquote, a program of compelling Chinese nationals to return home whenever the country's security services deems that they've violated Chinese law. 3 of these stations were identified as being in the Toronto area. One was registered to a private home. Another was in a strip mall populated largely with Chinese Canadian businesses. And the third was the office of the registered nonprofit known as the Canada Toronto Fu King Business Association. And now Safeguard Defenders say they've found 2 more. One in Vancouver and another in an unidentified Canadian city. So there's one in Vancouver and then there's one in a city that we don't know about right now. Although Safeguard Defenders' initial report prompted immediate political ripple effects around the world, that impact was probably felt most sharply in Canada, for which this is only the latest allegation of alleged Chinese political interference. In October, the House of Commons Committee on Canada-Beijing relations was utterly dominated by concerns from across the political spectrum that China was using its status to ratchet up its surveillance of Chinese nationals living and working in Canada. So Heather McPherson of NDP's Foreign Affairs, she's the Foreign Affairs critic of NDP, says, I don't think any of us are, to be honest, surprised. We've heard for a long time about people intimidated and threatened in this country. So the issue may even have helped prompt a face-to-face rebuke of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau by Chinese President Xi Jinping at the recent G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia. China's ambassador to Canada has been summoned multiple times before Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly to answer allegations about the station. So that's incredible. Chinese police stations, correct. So how about the community chase them the hell out of there? Yeah, you could do that, I guess. So I do have an exchange between Poilievre and Trudeau on this very matter. So this is about interference in elections, but at the same time, watch how Prime Minister Trudeau just kind of dodges the whole Chinese, interference in Canadian anything with his eloquence of dodging. There you go.
He says there was not interference in a significant way that would have changed the outcome. Was there any interference of any kind?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. As our intelligence services have highlighted many times in many different forums for Canadians, interference in Canadians' affairs by foreign powers is an ongoing thing, whether it's cyber interference, whether it's interference with communities here in Canada, whether it's attempts to influence the media. These are things that go on an ongoing basis, and things that our intelligence agencies and police agencies work very, very hard to counter. But Canadians can be reassured that the integrity of our elections was not compromised. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
He still won't answer the question. The question was specifically about whether intelligence, law enforcement, or public servants briefed him or in any way informed him of any interference in any of our elections.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, back in 2019, we established a professional, a nonpartisan, independent group of top civil servants and intelligence officials to ensure that the integrity of our elections would not be compromised. They watched and reported in the 2019 election. They watched and reported for the 2021 election, and in both cases confirmed that the integrity of our elections was not compromised.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The question was not whether the election was compromised. The question was whether officials in intelligence, law enforcement, or the public service at any time informed the Prime Minister of allegations of any interference in our elections. Yes or no?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the member opposite brought in the element of allegations of interference. I can confirm, based on the news reports that a number of people have been remarking on for the past number of weeks, that I have never gotten any information from any of our security agencies or police officers or intelligence officials or public servants on any information on anyone receiving, as a federal candidate, receiving money from China, as the allegations highlighted.
Leader of the Opposition.
The question wasn't whether or not he heard allegations of money going to a candidate from China. Obviously, money doesn't travel on a big ship from the other side of the Pacific and then go to the shore and then be delivered to a candidate. That is obviously a denial of an absurdity. The question is whether or not the Prime Minister ever got information from the public service, the police, or intelligence bodies on any interference of any kind by Beijing in our elections.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I got a report back from our panel that was established, the experts established in the national security agencies, to report back on whether or not our elections were subject to foreign interference, and they confirmed that the elections were held in full integrity. The outcome was not impacted. The Canadians can have full confidence in the integrity of our elections in 2019 and 2021.
So the answer is no. He's not just going to answer the question. So, yes or no? I wish that the Speaker of the House had the wherewithal or the authority or whatever to say, well, he did just ask you to give a yes or no answer. Can you just do that? And then the more he kind of rambles on with his verbal diarrhea, just, no, I need you to just say yes or no. And then at least then the conversation could go on. Okay, well, you said yes. So now what were you told? So because he's able to just go off and spew off whatever, you're not ever able to get down to anything in that format. So I would hope that the Speaker of the House at some point would be able to do that. I don't know if they are or not, but obviously that did not happen. Yes, exactly, Dana. Yes or no. It's that simple. Okay, yes, that's the way Jerome feels about the Prime Minister for sure. And you can have whatever position you have. I just want to be able to show what's really going on. And so you have these secret, not so secret now, Chinese police stations, and there's as many as, so there's 3, and they found more of them in Canada. And so one is in an unidentified city. We have 3 in Toronto, 1 in Vancouver, 1 somewhere else. And what is the Prime Minister doing about that? And at the same time, you have a new act coming out that basically is going to take away a good number of people's just regular hunting rifles as part of a way to fight crime. But the evidence is so clear out there that that's not the way, that crime isn't being perpetrated by these, if you could make a case that these particular firearms by these particular people that you're going to be taking them away from was the problem, well, then you could have, something to base that on, but you're not making the connection for anybody. So there's that. And then they're also bringing forward new legislation to make it easier and more people to take advantage of medically assistance in dying. And so you see these things. So you're allowing China to just come in, do whatever they want, and you're not protecting your country. You're sidestepping questions about it instead of being actively pro-Canadian and protecting your citizens from a foreign entity. You're dodging questions about it, and then you're taking away your citizens' firearms, and then you're making it easy to kill off your citizens. Do you see how all that's? There's just three things. There could be more, but I'm just saying three things that are in the news now. Those are just in the news now. That's what the headlines are. They're making it so that way people who are depressed, mentally ill, can take advantage of medically assistance in death while they're going after your guns, while they're making it easier for China to come in and just have police stations on our soil. Wow, look at that. That's just three things. So there's probably hundreds more things like that. In the same vein, you wonder, is the Prime Minister a Canadian? Like, really? To me, he would be Chinese. Because if you had someone who is Chinese in Canada, those are the things they'd be doing. Like, you know them by their fruits, right? You would know them by what they're doing. Like, if I was Xi Jinping and I could be the Prime Minister of Canada, I'd say, okay, how can we get rid of more of these Canadians or whatever? So let's make laws so that way, doctors can start killing them off. And hey, wait a minute, and make it less easy for them to protect themselves if anything was ever to happen. So let's take away all their guns and let's just put our police stations all over their country. So, wait a minute, that's what he would do. But our own Prime Minister is doing that. That's pretty interesting. And I just thought of that now, and that never even occurred to me, even to think that way until just now. So speaking of the whole gun thing, I guess Carey Price, beloved goalie of the Montreal Canadiens, came out and he just had an opinion about it, and he said, "You know what? I don't think I'm cool with that." And so, Instagram post by Habs goalie under scrutiny. Carey Price under scrutiny after posting about Trudeau's latest push for gun control. So let's just see how, once he's done that, now how the media addresses. The media should be, like I just mentioned, right? Like if I was the media in Canada, wouldn't I be out there to really find out what's going on as a watchdog here and say, hey, checks and balances here. This doesn't sound right. But this is what the media said about Carey Price and his wanting to, doesn't really agree with it.
Today, 14 lives were lost when a gunman targeting women opened fire at École Polytechnique. On this National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women, their memories live on. This is also a day often accompanied with a conversation about gun control, a debate that took an unexpected turn this year when a hockey star weighed in. CTV's Kevin Gallagher reports.
14 beams of light cast into Montreal's dreary sky, commemorating each young woman killed at the 1989 École Polytechnique massacre.
But that night I lose my innocence.
Nathalie Provost survived despite being shot 4 times. She was among 13 injured and 14 killed by the gunman with a semi-automatic rifle.
I asked him why. Why is he doing that? Why are we there in that corner of a classroom?
They lost their lives because they were women and because they were women in an engineering university.
Though this year's somber remembrance has faced a distraction from Montreal Canadiens star goaltender Carey Price. He criticized an amendment to federal legislation that might ban certain types of hunting rifles.
I think it's a real lack of sensibility because he maintained his position. And I'm so sorry that he cannot make the difference between a privilege and a right.
Yesterday, the Montreal Canadiens said Price was unaware of the unfortunate timing. Today, Price clarified I did in fact know about the tragedy. I stand by the opinions I've shared. I acknowledge that amplifying any conversation around guns this week may have upset some of those impacted most by the events here in 1989, and to them I apologize.
The committee resumes consideration of Bill C-21.
Price was upset over a proposed amendment added 2 weeks ago to new gun control legislation. It aims to expand an existing gun ban on so-called military-style weapons, but opposition MPs say it will unfairly target hunting rifles and sports shooters.
We're not going after the hunting rifles and the shotguns that are part of the way of life for many Canadians.
Pull back. Spencer Collins is a recreational hunter. He says his gun won't be banned according to this amendment, but others just like it will.
At the end of the day, people don't understand what's being prohibited and what's being allowed.
Even gun control advocates have criticized the government for lacking clarity on its definition of which rifles should be banned, something that will be fiercely debated at committee, Omar.
Kevin Gallagher in Ottawa. Kevin, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Miles chimes in saying he was basically targeted unfairly for his views there. And unfortunately, we got to leave it there. Always seem to have a huge deep dive just before, and it is so sad about the Polytechnique. But if you look at the technique of the media, they showed something so horrible that everybody would be so sad about, and then they bring in a solution that doesn't have anything to do with that in order to put forward ideological policies rather than actual ones that have a connection to what happened. So they pull on your heartstrings and they say, because of this, we're going to do that, and they don't necessarily connect. It's a tactic. It's unfortunate, but it is unfortunate what happened there. There is no connection to that and the new amendment to the gun law. However, that's a political move, and it should be called out. At the same time, I just want to thank everybody for watching and listening today, and stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. We'll be back same time, same place, Monday at 7:30. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for commenting. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, and all that stuff. And we'll be back same time, same place, Monday. Thanks, everyone. Have a great, wonderful weekend. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.